Welcome to another edition of All In with Ak and O.
It's your boy Ak.
And it's your boy O. Now today we on a sad one, man. Cause it's real tragic what's going on right now. This right here, you wanna tell them what it's about, Ak?
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but once again, we're going to be reporting a shooting. At this time, just about 25 minutes ago, 19 confirmed perished in the Texas school shooting and wounded another three. Basically, the shooting started at about 11:32 a.m., about 85 miles outside of San Antonio in the city of Uvalde, Texas. The shooter was an 18-year-old claiming the lives of mostly students who range from 8 and 11. So that's going to hit home for all the parents who got kids in that age, man, in that age range. It's horrible.
Wait, hold on. So 8 to 11, because I did hear that it does say 18 children and one teacher killed.
Yeah, I mean, one teacher was definitely killed. I mean, you got another one that's 66-year-old that's wounded, a 10-year-old that's wounded. But the average age of the people who perished in that shooting was between 8 and 11.
Dang.
Yeah, basically Robb Elementary. It's been the deadliest shooting since Sandy Hook, man. I know you remember Sandy Hook, which claimed 20 lives and wounded another 6. And this rat bastard's choice of weapons for the whole incident was a handgun and an AR-15 assault rifle with high capacity magazines. Now, for people that's not too gun savvy, high capacity magazines are those big old banana clips that you see. You know, it could hold a lot of rounds. You know, so I'm just trying to figure out, why would you go to school with that much ammo? Now, the teen is also suspected of killing his grandmother at the start of the whole rampage.
I heard that. Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm saying? And this school was fairly small. It had about 500 students, and he was even suspected to be a possible high school student from the same area of Uvalde. So, I don't know what this is going to do to our gun laws. Again, I'm not the type of person to really feel that, like taking away a person's Second Amendment rights is going to be the best option. But, I mean, that's why we're here to talk about this, just to kind of get into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, definite. Because I do feel that they're gonna try to capitalize on this. The people that are trying to eliminate, the Second Amendment, and they might, a lot of them, what they usually do, they don't outright say that. Like, they'll tell you, oh, we're not against the Second Amendment. We just want to make some adjustments and this and that. So we just want to limit, big guns or this and that, but really what's behind it, that's just how it begins. That's how I feel that, it starts with, they limit you with this, then they take it to the next step, until you ain't got no Second Amendment no more.
And I feel you on that, man. And I don't know, like, honestly speaking, I feel like it's going to come to a head after a while where they're going to be like, yo, hey, man, it's going to have to come down to us controlling the guns. I mean, yeah, it might be a little bit out of pocket that you got 18-year-olds right now that's able to buy, like, automatic assault rifles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I mean, basically, those are death weapons. I mean, like, it's beyond just home protection at this point. Mm-hmm. You're 18 years old. You don't need an AR-15, man. Handgun, shotgun, something to protect your property, possibly. And I mean, at 18, who knows what the real right age is? But I just know for a fact that 18-year-olds shouldn't be having AR-15s, man. Period.
Yeah, because an 18-year-old's still a kid, man. You fresh out of high school or still in high school.
And they get hyped up. Like, I remember we talked about this in one of our other episodes where them games, man, it kind of blurs that line of reality. You know what I'm saying? So you thinking that, like, this is a game, but those bullets are really taking lives, man. I mean, just imagine, I know I got kids and I got a young daughter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I could just imagine getting a call from her school talking about somebody came in there and just started popping. Like, I don't even know how I would take that, man.
And see, unfortunately, that's the thing, one thing that, people say, for people that want to, they're like, basically feel that we shouldn't have, things like ARs, like no one should have those. A lot of people feel that way, right? And what they usually use, they'll usually be like, they use what do you need an AR for hunting for or to protect your property, right? But what people fail to mention is one of the main reasons why the Second Amendment is there and it shall not be infringed is one of the main reasons is because it's in case the government becomes tyrannical so that the people have the
Can
power
defend themselves and stuff.
yeah, so they now if you ban assault rifles, if you ban these things and you only allow people to have handguns, how are you supposed to do that then? That defies the whole thing.
And I get to a point on that. I just feel like they should have a little stricter, like, regulations when it comes to who's able to get those ARs. Like, I get it, and that makes a strong point, to be honest with you all, because I mean, there is always a chance that the government's gonna get funky, and then next thing you know, we're gonna have to all defend our property and our rights. Mm-hmm. However, when you have 18-year-olds just going in there with a couple of dollars in their pocket and able to get some high capacity magazines to go along with that automatic rifle, not even fully automatic, but just the fact that you could pump rounds out, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, it's like, what can you really do? Like, if you really think about it, right? Let's say tomorrow they ban these kind of weapons, right? You really think it's gonna stop the next kid from doing it?
Not at all.
I
think that's like the war on drugs. Like no matter what kind of policing, no matter what kind of regulations or anything you have in place, it's here to stay. Period.
Exactly. So once we know that there's really nothing you could do, then I think you gotta leave that alone. And yes, you gotta definitely, because I'm with you. I don't think an 18-year-old, somebody that's immature, fresh out of high school, breath smelling like Similac, like my man Stephen A. always say, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
He shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to get these kind of weapons. It should be real adults. You should be like 25 or better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because at the end of the day, if you're 18 and you're holding on to automatic weapons, I mean, you barely legal enough to go fight for the country at that age.
Can't even. So
your practice with these kind of weapons are novice at best. Yeah. Unless you was holding on to them because there was people in your family that was helping you learn how to shoot these things and all that. But outside of that, if you're just an average 18-year-old, mm-hmm. I don't feel that you have enough experience with weapons, period, right, in order for you to be able to purchase one on top of that.
And like for me, even more importantly, like you ain't mentally ready. Like you ain't in the right mental state. Like you just not. You don't have the right mental capacity, you know what I'm saying, to be able to deal with things like this. Just like there's a reason why they don't allow you to drink till you 21. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're just not mentally ready.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, right now, the party that's in power is the party that really wants to ban guns. You know what I'm saying? So that
Biden just talked about it today. He said, we got to do something about these regulations, man. And what's crazy is just the fact that whether or not the regulations are addressed, guns are not going to disappear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not going to disappear regardless. I mean, what about all those people? You're going to grandfather them in the event that we do go the opposite way? Mm-hmm. There's many households with hundreds of weapons in them. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to actually do? You're going to go start policing people? I mean, it's been understood that the government has a bullet for everybody on Earth. That's how much ammo they have. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're already outgunned, but we got to at least feel the ability to protect ourselves. What I feel they need to do is employ more people, man. Put them in these schools, because how are you literally walking onto school grounds with an automatic weapon?
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, just going to my daughter's school, they gotta buzz you in and do all this other stuff, but that's not every school. Some people are actually able to walk on campus and just open up. Now, what I don't get is where's the security? Who's securing the children?
Right. Word. There should be. Look, after all these incidents, instead of trying to ban guns or anything like that,
Employ more people.
yeah, have
Period.
like you saying, man. Like we need to. There should be like 5 policemen. You know what I mean? There should be a cop behind the school and the side of the school, and most schools have like a cop. You know what I mean?
A cop, yeah.
Yeah, but that ain't nothing, man. Look, dude was able to go in there like nothing. You know what I'm saying? There should be multiple cops all over the damn place, and all kind of plans, contingency plans, so that if it gets too much for them, where SWAT could come in or whoever need to come in that can handle that. Even if you got to create a new force for that,
I
just
feel like you
specific
should be
for
able
that.
to lock the school down, man. Period. Or like at least like because all right. Say for instance, you catch somebody on recess. I mean, you got kids running around, etc., etc. But this happened 11:30 in the morning. I don't know how much of a recess they were having. I think it was more of the person coming onto campus in the middle of in the beginning of the day, well, so called the beginning of the day, and just entering school grounds with the gun. I don't think like he was like scoping kids outside and just start opening up. I think he actually got into the school. And I could be wrong because this story's still breaking. They don't even have really names or nothing yet. So I mean, it's yet to be determined, but it's a tragedy to say the least.
I seen.
We're sick of school shootings in America. And one thing that Biden did say that made sense. I mean, I can't always bash Biden, man,
Right.
but he did say something. He said, "Why isn't this happening all over the world?" Because we supposed to be like the land of the free and all this stuff. We supposed to have all these rights and these amenities, but yet we're the only country in the world pretty much that does school shootings.
Mm. That's a good question. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like one thing that just comes to mind, whether that's one of the reasons or not, who knows? But for me, I think of one thing that's like I try to look at what's different from us and other places. And one thing that comes to mind is we seem to have like the most entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like entertainment seems to be like we the biggest hub of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder if there's a correlation with that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a good point. I never thought of that, but maybe a little bit deeper. Maybe it's the subliminals in that. Like, just the fact that we're exposed to that level of entertainment, but it might be stuff within that entertainment that makes it okay that these things happen. Or like the fact that they promote too much of that negative stuff. Shooting, killing, drugs, sex, violence, blah 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 blah. Not saying that this is the only country that does that, but that along with entertainment, along with gun rights and all that other stuff, you got a bunch of sick kids running around with a little money in their pocket, able to go get themselves guns.
But that's the thing though, is that is entertainment. For a lot of people, like people, okay, it's like you put a video out or whatever, anybody, right? And the crazier it is, the more people watch, the more people are attracted to it. So the fact that we have so much entertainment, more than anybody else in the world, you could see how it's drawing that more than anybody else in the world. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but let me harp on that a little bit for you, because I don't know if it's the quantity of entertainment. I think it's the content itself.
But
where's the censorship?
But that's what I mean. But that's what I mean is so when you have this kind of quantity, and then these kind of things are the things that draw. Just the fact that you have that much more quantity is gonna draw that more. So So it just we just get overwhelmed with it. You know what I'm saying? And from little. You know what I'm saying?
But like say for instance, I mean, you got a lot of entertainment, like especially social media, because I don't think like a lot of people really care for streaming TV, like cable and stuff like that anymore. Like I mean, you have on demand everything, so it's like the need is not really with your programming anymore. But I feel that like my Zalgia, she's foreign, so I can compare what they're able to watch
Which is
in her
algebra.
country.
For those that don't know.
For those people, I forgot. For those people that don't know what a Zalgia is my spouse, my wife.
Okay.
Right? She's from another country, so I'm able to see the kind of things that they're being entertained with versus what we're being entertained with, and there's a lot more censorship.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we're exposed to more like violence, more sex, more drugs, more lewd speech, and like all of these things, which desensitizes us as a community as a whole.
Now, not for nothing, right? Now, peep that, right? I hate to say it, man, but when you think about what you just said right there, right? Who, what's the most violent, terrible, despicable music in the world? Is it not rap?
I mean, maybe nowadays it is rap.
You got rap, and then you also got that the crazy rock and roll where it's demonic.
That death metal,
Yeah.
heavy metal, stuff like that. Yeah,
you know
you don't even know what they saying half the time.
You know what I'm saying? And where was that birthed at?
Yeah, both.
You see what I'm saying? And rap has done taken over the world. Like it's spread through the whole world now. So when you have that, that's where the glorification of killing and doing all everything negative. You know what I mean? Disrespecting women, you name it. You know what I'm saying? It's in there. It's like
it's all derogatory. It's all part of a programming. I mean, so many people are onto it that you see people in other languages mimicking it, trying to make it theirs too. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go back to it strongly, man. Censorship, censorship, censorship. There got to be a level of humanity. There has to be a level where, you know what? I don't think our youth need to hear that stuff. Because look, this guy's 18 years old. He's not even 20, which means he was born in the millennium. And all of that stuff was coming from the millennium. All of that, like that lewd speech. I mean, just take it back to when we was listening to rap and all that. It still wasn't as vulgar as it is now. You know what I'm saying? It had its bad points. Don't get me wrong. And we was young, and we couldn't hear anybody talking about it in a bad way.
And I'll be lying if I said I don't listen to it still. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately.
And I feel you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my ears aren't virgin to it. I don't necessarily listen to it anymore because, my own choice at this point. But at the same time, I truly feel that if there was a level of censorship, people are saying and doing anything at this point in life right now. And nobody's batting an eyelash. And I truly think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, maybe the quantity. Obviously, if you pumping it in a person's head all day long versus here or there, it's going to have much more of an adverse effect. But I just feel that there's no boundaries to what's happening anymore. There's no boundaries.
But the sad part about it is you can't really do nothing about it now. Like what you gonna like at this point, you really think you can't censor it, especially in a land. This is what they say, the land of the free, right? So this is a secular place. This is a place where, just like Europe, it's kind of like everything goes, anything goes. You know what I'm saying? That's just whether we agree with it or not. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? So and look, they have like advisory and this and that. They got little things in place like, okay, is this for kids? When we do our videos, it says is this for kids, and you know what I mean. And you could click on whether it is or not, but kids are watching it anyway. Just like kids are watching them scenes in movies, you know, when they having little sex scenes and this and that. If they
They
watching the
learn it early
movie,
now, man.
they seeing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but you know, and this is what happens. This is what happens. You know, people criticize theocracies and things like that, right? But you know what? They don't have these problems in epidemic proportions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Isolated incidents. I mean, you
yeah.
got to sick somebody that's gonna like push the levels of society to see how far it's gonna go, but it just seems like a social norm at this point over here.
Mm-hmm.
It happens as often as we get hurricanes almost. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's crazy, man.
And plus, you know, they trying to kill God. Like they trying to obviously they can't, but you know they trying to take him out the equation. I seen a thing one time, a video clip. I don't remember if it was Congress or Senate. I forget. It was some. It was a body in the politics. You know what I mean?
Right.
In the political arena. And do you know that they booed God? Like a whole party booed God. Like,
But will you truly be surprised? I mean, they got alcohol commercials, sex sells. I mean, everything that's a deviation or a detriment to a social structure is being promoted. You think that's on purpose or by mistake? I
it's
mean
on
that's
purpose.
listen, man. All of this, none of this is coincidence, man. These are just the side effects of that ultimate bigger plan. You're gonna have when you're trying to degrade our population, when you're trying to like force us to depopulize, like these are gonna be some of the side effects. I mean, you give us all of the negative aspects of life. I mean, and you glorify it. So to where we're killing each other, we're desensitized to that. We're using too many drugs, we overdose, we desensitized to that. You know, sex trafficking, child porn, all of that stuff, we desensitized to that. You know what I'm saying? What do you think is going to happen? There's always going to be sickness in society when you allow too much to happen.
Right.
There is no censorship, whether it's on a physical level, whether it's on what we see and hear. Just the fact that it does not exist, this is just collateral damage, man.
And that's why you can't eliminate God from the equation
At all.
when it comes to government. People always talk about separation of church and state and this and that, and I could understand where people coming from, especially in a country like this, because this is a country of all kind of peoples, all kind of religions, and this and that. So you can't really
But
do
you can
that.
still have a major religion in a country and still allow people to practice other religions freely. Just like in the days of Islam, where there was Christians while the Muslims were ruling multiple lands, there were still Christians able to practice, worship their God, and be safe and sound.
Yeah, and Jews. Yep.
And Jews,
Right.
and just about every other walk of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're truly spiritually inclined, you're religious, then you're on the side of peace. So you're going to try to find peace for everybody. But when you remove any type of dogmatic belief, any type of structured belief for society, and is a free for all, balls to the wall type feel, you're going to have every type of crime out. Every type of crime.
Yeah, basically what happens is there's no boundaries. There's no
Right.
limits. You know what I'm saying? At all. You know what I'm saying? And we can't flourish under that. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, the further back you go, right, even in this country, right, the further back you go, you know what I'm saying? You see how it was more pure. It was like more clean. Like it's getting worse and worse and worse. And what you noticing is the more they remove God from everything. Before, everything was in God we trust, this and that. And you see people held on to more morals.
But also, there was censorship.
There was censorship.
They
That's
didn't
true.
expose you
That's
to
true.
the things that they're exposing you to right now.
That's true. I remember seeing old shows. You couldn't even say damn.
Exactly.
You say damn, and
once you was able, and forgive my French, once you was able to say bitch and ass on TV, everything went downhill.
Yeah.
That was like the end of it. I mean, we was able to hear that when we had HBO and all that. You know, like when we had cable channels, when it was uncensored movies and stuff like that, we heard curse words. Right. But during the whole scenario, like regular TV, we couldn't hear anything. They wouldn't even put it into the dialogue, so it wouldn't be no need for bleep. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that they started putting that in, and it was like it was okay. We watched the demise of population of civil society at that point.
And also, you know, you take into account social media. You know, right now you can live stream yourself and go viral by doing the craziest thing you could think of. And you do the craziest thing and you will go viral. And that plays a big part in it too. People like, yo, I could be famous. Yo, people gonna remember me. I'm gonna make a name. Like people that ain't nobody, you know, that got nothing to live for, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they kind of outcast. Huh?
I saw a few of those examples myself, man, where, I mean, they got their 15 seconds of fame, but it costed a couple of lives.
Yeah. And look how many times we seen it, man. Look, the shooting that was in Buffalo. Look, we watched the clip. We can't even show that clip. It looked, that was wild.
That looked straight out of a video game, man.
It did. It looked like a video game, man. And dude just like, bop, bop. He's just dropping people, you know what I mean? And the wild thing is that,
there was no hesitation to his action. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and you know, and you know what? He was popping. It was crazy about that video because, you know, we talked about, you know, how the dude was a racist and he had a manifesto and all this stuff. But the first person he popped was a white person. Second person he popped was, I believe, a white person. Then he started popping just everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, that
I don't want to say these things are happening because they want to set an example for gun laws. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's something behind it. It's unfortunate because, I mean, you know, sometimes in the country is collateral damage to push an agenda. And I mean, unfortunately, that's not something far-fetched. I would hate to say that this is the case, but if somebody threw that across my desk, I wouldn't be completely shocked.
Yeah, you know, and here's the thing too, man. It's like, one thing I definitely want to mention, and I think it's real important, because we talked before, right? Like, let me ask, you know, we already kind of talked about this, right? But when you think of mass shooting, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know if you could pull up what is a mass shooting, because if I'm not mistaken, a mass shooting is if you kill like 2 or 3 more people or something like that. If you could find that, and then I wanna say something on that.
Okay, so in the U.S., the Investigative Assistance for Violence Crime Act of 2012 defines mass killings as 3 or more killings in a single incident.
Okay, boom. So right there, right?
Yeah.
So mass shootings is 3 or more, right? Now, when we think of a mass shooter, when we just hear that word, right? A mass shooter, what do you picture?
I picture like somebody with a big gun and just going on a shooting spree where there's a bunch of people.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. What race?
White.
White, right? We all have this perception, white, right?
Yeah.
But how many, we've done seen video after video, article after article, right? Of mass shootings are happening all the time. In Chicago alone, how many times they spraying a block, shoot 2, 3, 4 people.
3, 4 people at a time.
Yeah, and guess what? You know what I mean?
It's not white.
They're not white. So why is it that the perception we have, we can't even help it? We just, and it's that it's white people. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I bring that up is because it kind of goes back to what I was saying before in another video. Is like, I really believe there's an agenda to try to create a race divide, to get us like pitting us against each other, so they to push a race war, man. To get us.
Well, I mean, you already know divide and conquer has been a strategy of ages. Like, if we gather all the people on one platform, I mean, we'll be Voltron. For those who don't know, the whole concept of Voltron is bringing separate parts and bringing them together to become a one larger unit, which is more powerful. Now, when you dividing it by race, by like gender, like, male, female, young, old, white, black, Spanish, whatever, any form of divide is easier to conquer those parts. You know what I'm saying? So it's if you are right, and not to say you're not, because a lot of times that is a strategy, a viable working strategy, where they divide people and conquer. But I feel that they just want to paint a picture like you got to be somebody that's crazy and out your mind to do these mass shootings and, going into these schools, etc. The reason why they stand out so much, because they going into places like movie theaters, like churches and synagogues and mosques and schools and supermarkets, whereas you might get an ethnic person to do that on their own corner. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole situation when the little girl in New York died.
They do it
like dude on a scooter, a young cat, was shooting into, like, just shooting randomly. He might have been trying to hit somebody, but he hit a little girl in the process. And that's just coming, that's like some Wild West crap in an ethnic situation, but it wouldn't be considered a mass shooting.
And look at the like if you look at the we did a video on the Brooklyn shooter, right? The subway shooter. He just went to a random subway cart, and just started airing everybody out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying, like, that's why, like, I bring these things up, you know what I'm saying? And people could say and think whatever they want, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like I said, man, it's like I heard this so many years ago that this was gonna happen. Like, this was something that was gonna be pushed, and I'm just seeing it unfolding, and that's why I ain't with it, man. That's why I try to stay away from the racial thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, the white man is my
it's a human
enemy.
race, man. It's the human race altogether, because I mean, regardless of what color you are, that's a sick, demented way of ruining people's lives. And I feel that it doesn't take a certain race. You got to be a certain type of mentality to do something like that.
Right.
Like, you don't have any heart for the human population.
Right.
Like, where you can just go and shoot people's kids, man. Like, and it's bad teachers are getting hit too. I don't want to take that away, because, regardless if you're young or old, it's still a bad crime. But just the fact that you're erasing little children's lives. I mean, they're still playing with kinetic sand and Legos. They don't know anything about the ills of life yet.
Right.
And according to the Islam, they granted paradise anyway, just because they before that puberty age. There's a clean, they just go straight.
Right.
But at the same time, to leave us here with those memories and those thoughts, it's horrible, man. It's long lasting. You do a lot more damage than you realize by shooting 18, 19, 20 kids, or going in the store and shooting 10 people, whatever, right? You leave a lot more of a lasting impression than it took for you to commit that crime.
And even thugs, man, got a big respect,
a code, a sense of ethics, man.
Got for kids. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got,
that's
like,
the art of war.
Yeah.
No women, no children. I mean, everybody knows that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that you can make those your primary target, man. I hope you last a long time in jail, man. I hope you stay up to 100. You know what I'm saying? And take everything that's coming to you, man.
Yeah, with no wreck, no nothing, man. Like,
this guy, I mean, he entered, or I don't know if somebody put it in his head or he put it in his own. But he had an agenda.
And what was his
He
name?
probably knew he wasn't going to be past this day. They didn't even release his name yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Nah, they did. It was a Hispanic dude actually.
Well, the school was predominantly Hispanic.
Yeah, his name was like something Gomez or something like that. Like, I'm sure you could pull that up, but I think it was something Gomez or something like that. You know, and this is just it's yo how man like
Salvador Ramos.
there you go Ramos, my fault. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Gomez, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So
like,
he wasn't even a white dude. That's and that lends to your point, Omar.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just the fact that it's like, how can you actually say that it's just white people that's actually committing these crimes when clearly it was a Hispanic? I mean, I don't know any white people with the name Salvador Ramos, man. Straight up, man. Yo, show me, point them out. You know what I'm saying? But that's crazy because it's no more a white person thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Brooklyn shooter was black. I mean, we could take it back to the Long Island shooting. That was another black dude. The DC shooting was a black guy. You know what I'm saying? So you got ethnic sickos also.
And like we touched on, look, Chicago, they bodying people left and right. And that's all black on black crime, man. You know what I'm saying? In California, what you got? You got Mexicans, you know what I mean, killing each other. In New York, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans killing each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all doing it.
You know, this guy's name is Salvador Ramos. I want to see what kind of border issues sneak into this conversation.
I wonder. Yeah. So what you thinking then?
I'm thinking that they're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna have some advocates for border control. They're gonna be they're gonna be like getting in on this whole situation, capitalizing on the moment. You're gonna have your gun control capitalizing on the moment. It's gonna be a couple of the different facets of this argument now. Because I mean that just shed new light while we're sitting here. Because when I was looking this information up, I didn't even see a name yet. So it's like just the fact that I don't know that he's Spanish. I know there's gonna be at least one border control topic to come up out of this.
Oh yeah.
Between that and guns.
Oh yeah. And it's just, man, I just feel this need, man, to always just bring up, man, because I believe in justice, and part of justice is, is holding whoever's accountable, what I mean? Whoever's guilty, I should say, hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? And I just really believe that nobody, I don't care what race you are, man, we shouldn't be divided, man. We can't be pointing fingers at no race, period. Because no race is better than the other, man. None. You know what I'm saying?
And then to be honest with you, how many of us chose our race?
We didn't.
We're not in control of that. We're not in control of the language that we're exposed to, the color of our skin, what kind of food we eat, what kind of ways we're raised with. Like a lot of these things are because we're from certain parts of the world, and that's just automatic on the wake up. You're gonna speak this language, you're gonna eat these foods, and you're gonna behave this way. You can't really control that. You know what I'm saying? I come from a mixed background, so it's like I didn't ask to be that way. Mm-hmm. I got one parent one way, one parent another way. And it's just like, that wasn't a choice. I mean, love is blind, obviously. If you can have mixed races and you can have people that has more than one ethnic background, it's because love sees no borders, and it's not meant for you to be addressing those things as a form of separation or nationalism, where my race is better than yours, right, yours is inferior to mine, etc. Or my people, we all gonna mingle. I mean, none of us are pure in blood at this point anyway.
Nope. You get the what's it called, the ancestry, man, and you're gonna find.
We got like 5 or 6 different backgrounds.
Yeah, easy. Man. Easy, or if not more, man. I guarantee you, it might be a low percentage, but I bet you got some Mongolian, some you know
Straight
what I'm
up,
saying?
man. You know what I'm saying? Something that you would not expect.
Yeah, well, you like, oh damn, I got Mongolian, I got, you know what I'm saying? I
You
got
know what I mean?
Czechoslovakian in me, you know what I mean?
Got little Nepalese in me and all that. You know what I'm saying?
You
Little
know,
Burma.
yeah, you know what I mean? I heard a comedian say one time, he was like, you know, what we all mixing so much, one day we all gonna be the same color, gray. You
Yo,
know?
but it's true, man. I mean, yo, you don't really find much like pure breed and like that usually, and that's still like it really doesn't exist, but it's more prominent in those races that don't like to mix consciously.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where you'll see a little more ancestry that can be like the lineage can be traced back a little more cleanly. But aside from that, if you got on a boat, a plane, a train, a bus, or anything else, you got a good chance that you're not pure blood.
Right.
You know, if you got anybody in your family that traveled, man, yo, you know, just it's something to consider. So as far as pulling a race card, it don't mean anything, especially under circumstances like this. I just feel you're sick, and you know, capital punishment should be practiced in all 50 states.
And it's a shame. Like I think about stuff like that. Like, you know, and I know it's purposely done, but I think about why is it that when we think of mass shooter, we think of a white person. When somebody says, if you ask most people, at least here, right? You ask most people if uh, Muslim. What's synonymous with Muslim? They say terrorists. You know what I mean? It's like, and we know that it's deliberate. There's people
Just like
really playing games.
Like
man.
when you think of black people, what do you think of? Drugs and guns. They'll say black people is more responsible for gun violence, but yet the majority of people that's doing these mass shootings are not black. I mean, you have your population, like we said, there's not all predominantly white, but it's all a mind control. They want us to paint certain pictures for certain crimes.
Yeah, Hispanics.
When you think of like child porn or you know what I mean, like pedophilia, you think of white. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they be responsible for that kind of stuff, man.
Or Hispanics, they look at us as drug addicts, alcoholics.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? We're all painted with our own level of shortcomings or whatever like that. But the real correct approach is that everybody's capable of everything, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no race to put on that. And I don't care about your statistics or anything like that because you got black and Spanish pedophiles. You know what I'm saying? You got white gun violence. You got all types of, drug users or different races and everything. I mean, none of that matters, man. Just the fact that crime exists and we live in a secular society, these are the collateral damages of such. That's it.
Right. And going back to like what you were saying is that one thing's for sure, we need some better damn security, man, in these schools.
Facts, man.
Like, it need to be like Fort Knox, man. We need to protect the kids, man, with the babies, man. Like, come on, man. Children,
and
man.
not just one lone security person that,
nah,
that's an ex-cop or whatever like that,
nah,
and
ain't enough.
He just happened to be on the force, he's no longer on the force, he's trying to get some extra money, and you hire him out because you can hire him at half price,
with the
and
big belly,
he's going to be a lax job. No,
with the big belly, can barely move.
Point.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Washed up.
Yeah, like he finished. You know what I'm saying? His trigger hand got arthritis in it. You know what I mean? Like the first thing you'll be like is stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, man. We need somebody that's gonna pop a top or two, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get active duty, man. You should allocate, because I mean we got a lot of police. You know what I'm saying? You should allocate a portion of them to each school. Period.
And we putting people, you know what I mean? Like, we sending rocket ships and satellites all over the place. We creating nuclear bombs.
So they say.
Right. But we create nuclear bombs, and we got all this technology and this and that. We got all these smarts. You're gonna tell me you can't come up with a way? Me and you could come up with all kind of ways
Listen,
to
man, they
protect the
creating
school.
viruses. Why can't they create more security, man?
Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot.
Sometimes,
Yo, listen, man. There's a lot. It's a lot going on, man. And I think y'all dropping the ball when it comes to protecting our future, man. Our future of these kids. We send them to school knowing that y'all gonna protect them like we would if they was at home with us. Do we gotta start homeschooling?
you know, and maybe, and you know what? That's shoot. You know what? Nowadays, man, that's probably the best option, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that might be the best option, man. I mean, then again, kids need social skills too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But then, maybe they'll get their social skills from something else. You know what I mean?
They're gonna start shooting up parks if they can't find them in schools no more.
You
You know
know,
what I mean? You got kids diving over the swing sets and all that because you got some sicko that's coming to a public park. I'm telling you, man, just arm everybody in America. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, I wouldn't really say when you're in the school to give, the teachers and the principals and stuff like that sidearms because
no,
you don't know what kind of people they
yeah,
are
they could have a
until,
bad
like,
day.
they break.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Like they snap, like, cause I not for nothing. I remember like back in the when we was young, I remember we used to break teachers, man.
Yeah,
We
man,
used to
literally
make
have
them
them quit.
crap. Yeah, where they quit, man.
Now imagine if they had guns, man.
Or if
You
they
know what I'm
didn't,
saying?
or if they didn't quit, they just straight up get broken and just give up. Like, well,
Yeah,
okay,
like
they
I
need
don't
to
care if
check.
y'all learn or not.
Yeah, like you know what, do whatever y'all want. I can't tell you how many teachers, man. When we was young, we broke them, broke where they just didn't care no more, man. They just gave up.
Yo, they was fighting students, man. Fighting students, man. Literally.
Hey,
Chairs being thrown and all. I mean, like, yo, you can't give anybody inside the school a weapon, but you can damn sure line it up outside with weapons. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having one cop that's bored, looking at social media, sitting in his car, sipping extra cups of coffee, have a few of them and do rotating runs. So that way, y'all won't be bored. Y'all can get y'all little cardio in. You know what I'm saying? Have the police vehicles there as a presence because it's a deterrent. I mean, yo, when you see a police vehicle on the highway, you slow down.
mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether they paying attention, they could be in there. They could be in there nodded out, man, just straight up, not even awake. But when you see the police vehicle on the side of the road and you was doing 85, you gonna go down to 60 real quick.
Word.
As you pass them. And so it's just the presence itself is going to deter you to some degree.
And I hate to say it, we might have to take one out from the drug game where we have lookouts. You know what I'm saying? Before the dude even gets there or whatever, you got some people, you know what I mean, with the little whistle or the ooh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like yo, man, we can have all kind of measures. It's like, okay, if they get past this, now they gotta pass this. Now they get through that, now they gotta pass this. You know what I mean? You have all these
ex-military and all these police officers. Like, all right, you know how many people come back from the service and don't have jobs? If they're mentally sound, let them play school security, man, and give them an attractive salary, man. They literally got to be there with their presence all day long, whether they got vehicles or not. But they're trained to shoot all types of artillery. You know what I'm saying? Long rifles, shotguns, handguns, close quarter combat. They go through all of that. I mean, if they're not going to sit here and hit somebody from 50 to 100 yards, let them come through and then knife attack them with a couple of elbows or something, man. You know what I'm saying? They train all day long.
Word.
I mean, you can't even make it to the next level until you know how to flip somebody on their back.
Word.
You know what I mean? And this little peon kid, come on, man. Yo, he looked like he never lifted a weight in his life.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you could take him out, man.
Yeah, man. And he looked like, yo, you see his face, man? His face looked like, yo, matter of fact, man, let me pull up his face real quick, because, yo, his face looked like, hold up, man. Let me see, man. I don't know if you want to elaborate on something.
Yeah,
But
nah. I
wow.
mean, he's just emotionless, man. Like I see his face, man. He looked like today was his last day. That's how he looked in the picture. And they also got a picture of one of the teachers that was killed, man. She looked like a young lady, aspiring, and she was a fourth grade teacher, man.
Mm,
Might have been a Spanish background too, Eva Morales,
mm,
you know. And
wow.
I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous at this point, man.
Wow.
I mean, all these people, all these cops show up to the scene, right? But ain't nothing there in the first place. What's the problem with that? Texas is a gun state, man. You know there's got to be some sick cats running around, man. So I feel like right off the rip, man, you should keep that in consideration. It shouldn't be such a far-fetched thought to have armed security, ex-military. I mean, y'all do it for clubs, man. Y'all do it for clubs where everybody's grown and they just had a little too much to drink.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, places where multiple people gather, you should have at least 2 to 3 people there that is paid just for that reason.
I think
Where's our tax money going? To Ukraine? Like,
word.
where is it going?
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? You heard about the billions that we just sent,
And then
like
he threw
30
another triple million on
or
it.
trillion.
You know what I'm saying?
I think like 30
It was over.
billion.
It was in the billions. Then he's put like another 100 million or something like that on it. Like, you know what I mean? And then that money right there could have probably secured every school in America for the next 12 months, easy.
Not to
And I don't
mention,
think a bill is even that gonna be that big, man.
not to mention, you look at how prices are going up, man, with everything, man. Yo, you go to Walmart or whatever, you go to the store, man. Yo, you buy a couple little things that don't even cover hardly nothing,
I
and
was able to carry $50 out of one arm the other day when I went to the store, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, what's becoming of America, man? Are we falling as a superpower or what? Because it's just like it's too much. It's too many red flags going on, man. It's a lot of and you know what they say, right? Those great countries and all that that actually fall is because it's coming from within, man. Because if you're a superpower, it's no outside influence that's going to bring you down. It's all from within, man.
yeah,
So when you trying to govern the globe, but you forgetting about the locals, what you think's going to happen? I mean, I'm sure y'all read The Art of War. It's more expensive to sustain an army outside of the walls than it is inside, man.
hmm
You sitting here sending billions of dollars out and then flying these rockets into the air so we can look at them like, oh wow, NASA's doing a great job. But yet you got school shootings, you got gas that's becoming unaffordable, the inflation is almost at 10%, and people are basically getting 2 to 3% raises on their job. So we're behind the curve. We're paying extra for food, for basic needs
hmm
like rent, like mortgage. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff is becoming so unaffordable, but yet we have money to spend billions of dollars to send to another country. And shout out to Ukraine. I understand that y'all got troubles and all that, man. I understand. But you know what? You got to clean up your own doorstep first, man. That's why we got all these shootings because we misallocating the money and we're not paying attention to all the potential threats that are walking every day. You know, I was just talking about this earlier, but it seems like every other day there's issues going on in America. But it's like the equivalent of saying, if we was Africa as a continent, imagine every little country in Africa reporting their news. That's why America seems like they're just so out of pocket. Because 1 minute is New York, next is Texas, next is Illinois, next is LA, next you understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's like saying Ghana, Morocco, Libya, South Africa, Zimbabwe,
right,
Ethiopia.
right,
It's
right.
just like like if you hear news like that all of a sudden, I mean it's probably gonna seem like we are falling apart. But
hmm
you gotta understand we're almost covering a continent with news. So it's not just a state, which is considered a country in another location.
Word. And that's one thing, man. Like, yo, they just hiked up my rent just went up 300 in one shot. You know what I mean? And that's only for a year. They might raise it another 300. You know what I'm saying? By the
Every
end of the
year it
year.
goes up, every single
Yeah,
year.
you know what I'm saying? It's like this ain't really sustainable. Like you know, and you let me tell you something. Like I really, cause I don't I don't trust people too much. You know what I mean? I could be cynical sometimes, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I usually don't think the best of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I truly believe, and I could be wrong, whatever, but I truly believe. Let me tell you that you got people that's purposely, they knew. Look, if me and you could come up in a video like this, and we could come up with the basic principle of obviously protecting schools with more security and more this and that, you can't tell me they ain't think of that. But I think
yeah, like it didn't even cross the table at all.
Right.
Like,
So
that's a lie. That's just
right.
that's a farce, man.
So
Yeah.
they know what time it is. It's like I believe that you got some people that they want this kind of stuff to happen. Because if this stuff happens, they have something they could use to push their agenda. You want to get rid of guns? You want to take the guns away from the people?
Start
Guess
killing
what?
their kids, man.
Yeah, allow the kid, make it easy for kids
I'm
to
sure.
get killed, and then you don't do nothing about it. And then when these things happen, oh, you on TV and this and that, and making a big deal and stirring people's emotions so that people, because that's what these politicians do. You know what I'm saying? Is
They pull on the
especially
heartstrings of people. Because
yeah.
I'm sure some people that are pro-gun after tonight has changed their mind.
Word.
I'm sure it happens after every school shooting.
Every
You
time.
lose a portion of Second Amendment rights, and people are just like, you know what? I think the government's right. I think that we should give our guns up every single time that kids get shot. Because just look at what we're talking about at the beginning of this show. I think there should be regulations on rifles, but at one point that wasn't even a topic of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep on shooting up kids, and then you're gonna make the non-believers into believers, man. Simple.
Yeah, and they know that, and that's look. One of the biggest tricks that politicians have is stirring people's emotion, because if you get people to think emotionally, they'll act emotionally. And look at 9/11. They pumped in our heads that the Muslim terrorists and this and that, and they're gonna kill you, and mushroom clouds in Manhattan and this and that, and you know what I mean. And what happened? They got people to give up their own rights, and now you have something like the Patriot Act. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is crazy. If you look at what that means, like, it's insanity. Like, people gave up their rights in the name of security. And there's a saying, you know what I mean? I might be saying it wrong, but it's something to the effect of, if you give up your rights in the name of security, you will have none, and nor will you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? And it's real talk, man, and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And and that also goes with the racial baiting. You know what I'm saying? They that's they playing on, so they'll bring up horrible things that happen or whatever, and they'll bring it up so much that the perception is that this is like, they'll make you think like you walk outside and the hunt is on, and they just looking for you a minority, or they're gonna gun you down in the street just for walking outside your door, this and that, and people believe it. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to do that, to stir emotions by using things that have happened.
The best way to make a population conform is to pull on their heartstrings, man.
Word.
Like, if you truly give them some real heartfelt solutions or real heartfelt situations, they're going to allow you to choose. Because a lot of people aren't good under pressure. They're not going to allow you to make those choices on your own. They're going to give you a scenario and say, we should do this, right? And it's going to be one of those closed-ended questions, and you're going to obviously say yes because you just seen some carnage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They purposely create a problem because
with a solution already in place.
Exactly. So
you know
that they can come with the solution.
They've been doing that they wanted to push that Patriot Act for so long, so they created the problem so you could just automatically jump on board.
Word. You know what I'm
Before
saying?
then, you could fly the way you want to and everything. Now you got to take off your shoes, your belt. I'm surprised they ain't feeling you up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, they getting free feels, but I'm just like, yo, you can't go anywhere. You can't even open a
Like,
bank
what's
account
this?
without having
What's
all
this?
types of documents. You know what I mean? Either they doing it this way or this way. You know what I'm saying? Like one or the other, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that you can't go anywhere without being groped. You know, that's a violation within itself, man. You're like, damn, man, do I want to fly? You know what I mean? Then you got to stick your arms up in the air. You got to go through all types of x-rays and empty your pockets, open your bags. I mean, what if you don't want people to see what kind of underwear you wear, man? You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's a straight violation. Like, yo, man, you know, I still wear the tube socks with the stripes on top, man. They probably going to be talking about me for the next 10 flights. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's what I wear, but, you know, there's people out there with, you know, like, yo, you saw that, man? Yo, dude, socks was crazy. I ain't see that since like elementary, man. Like, you know, and you the topic of conversation now, man. But I mean,
my man
you
got
know,
Fruit of Looms.
But just like going back full circle, man, I feel like, you know, if y'all really want solutions, America, man, you know, start censoring things. I don't care, man. I don't care if it causes a public uproar, man. Start censoring things, man. Yo, you can't see it on TV no more, period. And then not only that, start applying security in locations where you know that is a possible target, unless y'all the ones making it happen. I mean, because why y'all not thinking out the box? I mean, we just two average Joes, and we got more solutions than I've heard with all of these speeches with Bidens and secretaries. All right, so you ban guns. What's going to happen? All they're going to do is sneak them in through a tunnel. You're going to pay dirt cheap for them, and now you ain't going to have other people that could be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to happen.
The law-abiding citizens are the ones that are going to pay the price because they're going to be following the law, and now they're going to be disarmed while the criminals are still going to be armed.
Everywhere's going to be Gotham City. Man.
And nothing, and you can't do nothing. Now you just a sit and duck, and it's a wrap for you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, this is a damn shame, man. You know what I mean? And it's like, I realize too, like, I think we're gonna end up covering a lot of shootings, man, because there've been so many just in this little
recently.
Time. Yeah,
that's what's crid.
Like, yo, it's like one after
what
the
happened?
other.
Yo, what happened to baby milk, man?
word, man.
It ain't hit hard enough, man. They was like, yo, let's go get some kids pop. You know what I'm saying? Man. I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm not saying the government's responsible for that by no means, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it like that. I'm just trying to make sense of a situation that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not gonna come through controlling guns. So y'all can just press pause right there, man. You know what I mean? Figure out how y'all gonna pay people to secure the kids while they're at school. Because I mean, you're traumatizing babies from left to right, man. I mean, from West Coast to East Coast, we all thinking about it. That news went global. It wasn't even national, man. It was global.
Word.
I'm getting calls from overseas like, yo, you heard what happened in Texas? I'm like, wow, yeah, I did. Like, you know what I mean? Because we living in the internet age, man.
Word.
Once it hits social media, man, you got people in Uganda that know.
Right.
If you got dial-up over there, man, you probably saw it.
Word. Real talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man. I mean, like, I don't know what kind of agendas are coming out of this. I don't know what people are really trying to accomplish, but I truly feel that something needs to change, and it's not the gun laws. Maybe you could be a little bit more strict on who's leaving your establishment with rifles,
right,
and what kind of criteria you have to meet in order to buy one.
Mainly
but don't disarm the people, man. Don't do that.
Word. And mainly age limit. You know what I mean? Definitely. Yeah. You got to be at least 25.
Age limit should definitely be effective.
Or, you know.
If you can say 18, you can say 21, man. They could wait 3 more years, man.
Word.
I mean, what kind of danger are you in between 18 and 21 unless you're part of the problem?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you 18, you could wait 3 more years, just like they did to get their first bottle of liquor legally. They had to wait from 18 to 21. You go get yourself a pack of cigarettes, but you can't go get a bottle too.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Word.
what I mean? So it's like, that's for a reason, man. They already know, all right. When you 18, yeah, you kind of got, your mind on right, but you still developing physically, scientifically. Your mind is still not fully developed
Word.
until you're about 25, man.
Word. Word.
You know what I'm saying, man? Just up it all the way. 25, man. What you
Especially,
need a gun for at that age? And I mean,
spe-
maybe some kind of guns because you got some younger people like 24, 23. They can join the force. They can go serve in the army. But maybe those are the ones that deserve to have the weapons in,
right.
and not
Those
just any 18 to 25-year-old that was playing Call of Duty and they got a couple of dollars because they know how to invest in some crypto.
right. Those are those will be the exceptions. Because there's always exceptions to everything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you join the armed forces and you fought in a war and you come back and you 22, 23, or 20 or whatever it is, you can't tell me you ain't fit to have a gun as long as you met.
Especially if you was training
Right.
with some of the world's finest, man.
Right. So definitely some exceptions there. But for the general rule, yeah, man, you just Joe Schmo from the block. Nah, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't narrow that down, man. I mean, if any kid USA can get a gun. Now, if you was just to narrow it down to people who served in the armed forces or who are currently active with law enforcement agencies, then at least you can narrow down who's doing all this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
And make it a little bit harder for them to get illegal guns, man. Make gun laws. If you want to change something, make the punishment for having one illegally a little bit more stringent.
Word. Word, man. But yeah, man, this one here was a gripping one. A sad video. You know what I'm saying? And
It's definitely unfortunate, man. But when you got Akino, we're gonna go all in. We're gonna give you our opinions. What we can say is like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from y'all. We thank y'all for the support up to now. And we're gonna keep on going all in with any topics that we come across that we feel that you guys need to know.
word, and yeah, let us hear from y'all. You know what I mean? What's your opinion on this? Y'all disagree? Y'all agree? Y'all got some other ideas? You know what I mean? Like, yo,
Let us
we
know.
word up, man. So to the next one, all in with Akino. Peace.
Peace.